Okay, guys, we can start. Can you hear me? Yeah, good evening, guys. We can start. Guys, am I audible? Okay, yeah, fine. So we will continue the paper 2 discussion, guys. So here, I think in this session, I'll be talking about kinship and then religion, but we will not be discussing the concepts or the topics. I'll tell you the question and how you need to proceed with that particular question. What are the important elements that you need to incorporate in that answer? And I have given the answer also. You need to follow that. If time was there, what I'll do is I'll take up the questions from the previous discussion, because last time we were discussing about caste and tribe, but I was not able to discuss with the questions, right? I have made the question that time and then I was discussing actually those topics. So today I have that PDF with me, but it is not complete. That's why I'm not able to share with you today. I have to make some more modification, like, marking the important points and everything, so that I will be able to send it to you within maybe 2-3 days, guys. I'm working on it. It's not yet complete. Okay. So guys, this is one question which was asked last year, and often they will ask you one from, family kinship system in North India, South India, or they will ask you simply regional variations. Okay. So you need to know like all the four. Okay. North, South, East, West, and Northeast. Okay. So this five. So what you need to do is the study, how she divided Airavati Karve. The study is something which you need to exactly cut, copy, paste. The other way in which you can write is like you will make a map also if it is asked in general, and then you will write what are the features in northern part, southern part, central part, okay, east and west. Just like the way you do it in case of tribes. If they're asking you geographical spread, you will make a map, but that is not a relevant approach in sociology, but something which can be easily convinced to the examiner. This is the region, this is the practices. Okay, so in South region, like when we discuss about caste endogamy, clan exogamy, this is very specific and strict rule which is followed in North, but not in South. So in South, when you talk about, you can say that rule is not necessarily or strictly or rigidly followed. The relatives, the uncles can marry. Okay, so that blood related people also can marry in South. So there are different variations. You need to go through it. Same as what is this? This is given as notes that I have given in the class. So that is why I have incorporated that also. So Ayurvedic are the same idea. So like a rule of marriage. Okay, I've told you caste endogamy, clan exogamy, that is a general rule, but there are exceptions. Okay, this endogamy, exogamy rules. You know what is village exogamy, right? Clan exogamy. Entire clan lives in a village. That's one village exogamy. That is actually the real concept, but now there are a lot of mixing and changes have happened. Theoretically speaking, that is the reason. It is believed that the entire village is connected, or the entire village trace the identity from a common ancestor up to 5 generations. That's why they belong to a clan. That's why you cannot marry from the village. And the elders of that village is actually the elders of the clan, and that's what they form the Kha Panchayat. They form the rules, and you know the other things as well. Okay. Guys, just go through this. This is going to be very important because it is impossible for me to teach everything at this juncture. We don't want to do that. Voice is not clear. Any problem with the voice? I don't know, guys, why voice problem is there. I'm using the same internet. Can you just log out and log in again? Why everybody's having problem? Can you just log out and log in again? Yeah, just log out and log in again, guys. Those who have problem, just log out and log in again. Okay, guys, please go through this. What is Central India, like related to cross cousin marriage and everything. Okay. There's something which is coming from religious minorities, socio-religious reform in Sikh community. It can be asked from religious minorities. It can also be asked from your chapter 2 on the paper 2, that socio-religious reform movements. Okay, from there also it can be asked. But anyway, just go to that. Household, we know what is household, the definition of household. They will ask you life cycle of household. When they're asking you life cycle of household, what you need to do is you need to talk about the fission fusion process, joined to nuclear, then nuclear fused into joined, and all those things is what you need to write. Okay. And AM Shah study, and he is making some classification also related to different types of household. There is a study on Pauline Kolenda. Just take down these names. Out of this, AM Shah is very important. Kolenda, it is not necessary, but AM Shah study I have incorporated in the answer. That is very important if the question is asked on household, especially in paper 2. Paper 1, if required, you need to write, because there they will ask you the concept only. That itself is anyway covered. In case if it is required, you need to talk about AM Shah, authority in that study. Okay, guys, this is what you need to look for. This classification, but it is very difficult for you to remember this classification given by Pauline Kolenda. Just, if possible, try to do that, but it is very difficult for you to remember this 12 type classification. At least you can tell that Pauline Kolenda in her study proposed a 12 type classification that you can use. AM Shah is very important. His study is given here. Field study in Gujarat. Okay. So there he is talking about simple household, complex household. What is simple? What is complex? Within that, classifications have given A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. Here also that is there. I don't want to explain this. You just need to go to that. It's a very, very general question, guys, with the knowledge in family that you should be able to write this from your side. There is nothing like you need to memorize from here and you need to go and write the answer. That is what I want to tell you here in this chapter or in this discussion. Critically analyze contemporary Indian society is dominated by the nuclear family structure. So you have to tell that, yeah, that is a situation, but you need to use the word fact and value. Do you remember this is what I have started with when we discuss about joint family? The fact is that joint family. But value terms, what is desirable? We prefer jointness. And you need to write which study to conclude that. IP Desai study, the study of Mahua. Okay. So what has been the conclusion in that? He have been conducted survey out of that. 60% prefer jointness. And what he has been concluding is, if your action is oriented towards the wider kin group, then that means there is a jointness. You may stay nuclear, so residentially you are nuclear, but you are joint in operation. We prefer jointness. So it can be understood in terms of degree. It can be understood in terms of a continuum. That means joint family on one end, nuclear family on the other end. You remember tribe caste continuum, same. So we are in the transition. We are not like Western society. We are not completely nuclear. Western society completely nuclear means completely independent. Okay. But here we are staying nuclear, but we have jointness. That means you need to understand in terms of degree of jointness. Guys, these are the words that you need to use. It can be understood in terms of degree of jointness. If the action is oriented towards the wider kin group, that means jointness is there. Okay, joint family as such, like a one people, more generation living in the same roof, eating food from the same kitchen, holding property in common, having common worship and all those things, that is gone. That's what fact versus value. So write fact versus value and then conclude your answer by using IP Desai. Also, you need to discuss about why nuclear family, what is the necessity. There are economic factors, there are legal factors. What are the legal factors? Land reforms and all those reforms. Okay. And then what else? The other developmental factors and everything you need to, it is given here, right? Economic factors, opportunities, migration, occupation, educational factors, okay, legal factors, urbanization. Okay. one more thing, guys. This one can be a separate question. Urbanization and emergence of nuclear family. Industrialization and emergence of nuclear family. Okay, but even then, you need to incorporate all these factors within that. Make it, then all these are part of urbanization. Because economic factor is there anyway connected with urbanization. There are educational factors. There are again legal factors. All these things need to be incorporated within that. Just that the question has changed, the words have been changed, but you need to write it in the same way, almost the same way. But see, there is no fixed answer for these questions, right? What we can do maximum is, whenever they ask you question on joint family, nuclear family related things, talk always about fact, value. Fact is the reality. Value is the expectation, desirability. Okay. The fact is that we live as residentially nuclear. Value, the preferences, we need to have togetherness, jointness, and all those things. That is the crux. Everything else will come within that. The reason why we are saying separate, staying separate, right? There is a big factor, land reform. Then economic factors, migration, occupational opportunities, all those. Guys, all these can be, what my point here is, independently they can ask you. The demographic factors and nuclear family, legal factors and nuclear family, economic factors and nuclear family, but urbanization, nuclear family, industrialization, nuclear family is most common. Okay. Now, why still jointness is there? There are different studies. MN Srinivas studies there, IP Desai studies there, KM Kapadia studies there. So it is always good for you to go with these studies. In case if they're asking you separately KM Kapadia's understanding on joint family, you will be getting content from that. IP Desai, it is Milton Singer study. You can use it somewhere. Okay. So he's talking about that industrialist of Madras that you can use even in Weber criticism also. So guys, all these Pauline Kolenda study. Okay, IP Desai, I think it is not here. I forgot it. But when you discuss about reinforcement or this question, IP Desai study is very, very important. What you need to do, guys, you need to go with essential sociology. Okay, essential sociology, there is a table. In this paper 2, chapter on family, there is a table, IP Desai study. More than all these which I've mentioned here, actually, IP Desai study is very important because he making that proper, comparison. He's saying that the residentially nuclear family in India is totally different than the nuclear family in West in terms of all attributes, whether it is social, economic, or any attributes. Why? Because we just stay as nuclear, but we have jointness. West, that's not the case. They are nuclear in all aspects. So we cannot compare nuclear family in India, nuclear family in West. Okay. Here, if you need to understand, you need to understand in terms of jointness. We are still joint family. Why? Because we are concerned about our kids when it comes to some health issues or death or any life crisis or marriage or education. We are ready and willing to help our kids. So that is what you mean by value. Okay. So jointness is preferred. So we need to understand joint family in India. How? In terms of continuum, not at the both extreme. We are not joint. We can't say joint family. Can we say nuclear family? No. So we can't use extreme. We need to use continuum. We are somewhere in between. It can be understood best in terms of degree of jointness. Is it more or is it less? Okay. If it is less, we are close to nuclear. If it is more, we are just staying nuclear, but all the traits of joint family is still continuing, except common property, staying under the one roof, kitchen, and all those things. Okay. But you also need to mention other knowledge that you have, like authority of Karta has come down, and all those things you need to mention. I don't know why I skipped IP Desai, but the point is, guys, somewhere here you need to write, or when I update it, I'll do that and I'll let you know. Okay, I'll make it clear. Because that you can find anyway in essential sociology. There is a table, one page completely, very, very important. They can ask you separately that study. Okay. Guys, objectives of Hindu and Muslim marriage. Most of the marriage have a common objective. That what you can write is generally general objectives like functions of family. You have studied in paper 1, manifest function, latent function, function discussed by thinkers and all. Then that are common things which you can write anywhere. But this is very specific question that you can write here. Plus Hindu-Muslim marriage objectives, what are the other things? Okay, Manusmriti, what it is said, procreation of son, and all those things you need to mention. You cannot renounce the world without procreating a son, so all those things you need to mention. These are very general questions, but I'm just incorporating these questions. This is how you will get it in paper 2. Very open. Whatever knowledge you have in paper 1 also need to be incorporated. The institution of marriage in India is undergoing changes in almost all important areas and spheres. Okay, so you need to talk about the contemporary, what is marriage, what are the changes which is happening, contemporary trends. Okay, all those. You can also talk about this polygamy and all those things, serial monogamy, weekend family, live-in relation, single parent family, plastic sexuality, weekend family, romantic love, and all those things. Everything, whatever we have discussed before, same things can be discussed here. Also incorporate some Indian thinkers here. Okay. Some of them are of the opinion that marriage is continuing to be a sacrament only. It's okay, like this. What are the role of caste? What are the role of class? Okay. Religion. How is it affecting secularism? How is it affecting marriage? Secularization of marriage. Use this word, secularization of marriage. What happened with the median age? Women, it has been increased, right? What it is indicating? It is indicating that education, women empowerment. Okay. These are like these are something which you can use as a quote, right? But not necessary. Most prestigious to most expensive. Marriage is something which is showing your. This is an opportunity to show your prestige, right? Your money power. So the way, even if you can, the way you celebrate, the way you conduct this function, then it is an opportunity. It is a best chance for you to show the public how rich you are, right? By giving dowry or by taking dowry or by celebrating that way. Now, globalization, how is it affecting marriage? Family also, you need to talk about globalization, urbanization. Now, this one, what I want to tell you regarding this is you have a chapter, religion. In that, two topics are there, religious minorities and the problem of religious minorities. Okay, so this is in general, problem of religious minorities. I've told you last day that I'll give you in general. So this is something which is in general, all these Jagannath Pati and all those things you need to know if question is asked in general. Because see, if you are not a majority, you are a minority. So we generally discuss minorities in two domain, on religion and language, linguistic minority, religious minority. But the topic is religious minority. So we are sticking to this one. Okay, what are the problems of this? There are common problems. So remember all those common problems which is applicable for all. That is what I've given. Then there are specific problems, for example, Muslims, right? Then you talk about Sachar committee. At least you, even if you don't know, you just need to mention about Sachar committee have identified the problem and suggested the solution, and it is still at the implementation as the problem and all those things you need. But anyway, you need to go through that, guys, because that is very important for your GS, very important for your essay. Sachar committee report, okay? Just go through that once. Not completely, at least the key points, recommendations. Okay, I'm not discussing the problems here. You have to go through it. It's a very lengthy write-up, but it will cover everything. There is nothing else which is required for you for that topic. Refer to again. Again, do you think then you need to prepare specifically for each? Not actually required. It is covering everything. Specific also you can get it from here. But guys, in case when you're writing this year exam, if there is any religious communities coming in news, then if some government programs is going to come for that particular community, then they will ask you specific to that. Then you can go specific and you can read more and you can prepare. Otherwise, a general preparation is enough for you. This is not going to be asked. This topic, the question is not going to be asked. In case if they're asking, this is the source for you. Do you want to spend more time and effort and you want to read more for this? Never do that. No need of that. Just this, okay? This is also a question which I've seen, write a short note on migration. I've given the answer below. There's another question which is going to come related to migration. Answer is there. But there's a very easy question, right? You know, right? What, write a short note on migration. What all things you will write? You can, even that green revolution things which I've told you, how migration, what is the reason for migration? What are the pull factors? What are the push factors? What are the developmental aspect? What is the green revolution? How is it creating migration? From non-green revolution to green revolution area, what happened in the source area, what happened in the destination area, what happened with the sex ratio, right? There it is adversely affected. Okay, here that led to feminization of poverty, feminization of agriculture and all those things. And migrant labors, their issues, the issues created by migrant labors, the creation of slums, new crimes and all those things you need to mention. Schemes for migrant labors. Guys, the scope is unlimited. You can write in. Now imagine, guys, this is a question which is asking for 10 mark. This question they used to ask in 2011, 12, 13 time, 60 mark. Okay. You are so lucky just to write 10 mark. It's so easy for you. Very, very easy. At least if you capture the 3-4 dimension, you are done with that. Nothing more is required. Even if you don't know any thinkers or anything, it's okay. Social base of political parties. What are the social base? When I say class is one, caste is one, religion is also one, their family background is also one. All these are the social base. Okay, regional based parties, caste based party. Examples and all, everything is given. Class. Okay, culture. There's a repetition. I'll avoid that when I share it. Guys, this is what I've told you. What is joint family? Fact, joint family is disappearing. Value, jointness is still there. Okay, that means size, no, we can't say joint family, but obligation, jointness is there. IP Desai, I have mentioned it somewhere here. See this statement, a residentially nuclear group is embedded in social, cultural and other non-social environment, which are not as same as those in the societies of West. So here we are residentially nuclear, but they are connected in social, cultural, and many other aspects, totally different to West. Nuclear family in India, you cannot compare it with nuclear family in West. So when we use the word nuclear family, that will not best describe the nuclear family in India. So we need to understand that in terms of a continuum. Jointness is desirable. So if the action is oriented towards your kin group, jointness is there. So it is a modified joint family or adapted joint family. So we need to understand in terms of continuum or by using the concept of jointness. These are the keywords which you need to remember. The study you can read from here, but it is not complete, guys. I've told you to read this essential sociology. One page is there that will capture everything. That's enough. Because they can ask you separately IP Desai. Very important study this one is. The study of Mahua. Okay. This is what I've told you, impact of migration. There it is just migration. So impact of migration on demography. That is the most important point that we have discussed, especially when we discussed about green revolution. It will obviously affect demography, right? So guys, their living condition, their health and education, impact on migrants and their families here, destination and in the source area. If only male is migrating, what will happen with women, children, age in their family? Okay, male out migration. Caste conflict can be asked. Most of the content actually you can get from what we have discussed in caste, backward caste movement. In the backward caste movement, it is actually conflict between two castes, right? Or between two groups. That is similarly ethnic conflict. The reason will be same as that of ethnic movement. The different types of conflict. What are the three different movements we discussed? Inter-ethnic movement, intra-ethnic movement, ethnic group versus state. Same as the case of conflict also. You write the same. Okay. Now, what are the factors? Exploitation of lower caste by higher caste, dominance of one. Guys, this is exactly what you have seen in caste, backward caste movement. So I want you to connect these two together, backward caste movement and caste conflict. The reasons you will get there, the way it is proceeding, you are getting there. Movement is what the conflict. Okay. And then ethnic movement and ethnic conflict also club it together and prepare together, rather than studying social movement chapter, these two topics, and last chapter coming back and studying separately. No, guys, this is what not the approach. Club it together, prepare that, it's done forever. Okay. Because it's almost same. The approach and content and everything is same. Now, I'm not here to discuss these things. Poverty, social problem of poverty. But you know what to write, right? Functions of poverty. First, you need to write the culture of subculture of poverty, Oscar levels. These things we have discussed. Now, the question is, can you use what you have learned in paper one here? Obviously, you can. You can use Oscar Lewis, subculture poverty. Okay, slums you need to mention here. What kind of crimes poverty will create, you need to mention here. Functions of poverty, you need to mention. Why poverty is functional? You can use Davis and Moore theory, you can use Durkheim's approach. Okay, functions of poverty, dysfunctions of poverty, how poor is created, Marx perspective you need to mention. Otherwise, general other studies also you can use. Will you write bonded labor connected to poverty? Yes, you need to write. Will you write child labor connected to poverty? Yes, you will write. Prostitution will you write? Yes, you will write. Do I need to tell you more? No, you can just think of it and you need to. I think I might not have mentioned all these things, but it all connected with poverty. It's a vicious cycle. You need to draw the diagram also. Guys, are you getting me? Are you able to follow me? Is there any difficulty in this paper too? We can just discuss and go like this only, guys. This is something which we have covered last session. I don't know why I've added here. It should be in the other. What are the tribal policies, colonial policies, post-colonial policies, tribal punch shield, forest policies and tribes. Just go through this also separately. Oh, it's lengthy. Yes, here IP Desai have incorporated. Whether it was there in traditional India with respect to views of IP Desai. Go with that study. Just read this one paragraph. In case if you're skipping, if you're not able to buy or I don't, if you're not able to get essential sociology, this one paragraph is enough. Why it is coming here? It should be coming in the previous chapter. Louis Dumont concept of purity and pollution. His perspective on caste, homo hierarchicus. We discussed last session. Okay, geographical classification of tribes. I've shared last PDF that will cover everything. Okay, caste and varna. Caste mobility also we discussed last time. Hypergamy, hypogamy, Sanskritization, dominant caste, and other studies also. Sanskritization, Kshatriyization, Rajputization, in general Sanskritization, Brahminization. What are the factors of mobility? Tribe and caste. You can also explain by using tribe caste continuum. Tribe and caste, the definitional problem you write. Similarity in the definition of tribe and caste you write. Finally, you talk about tribe caste continuum. Gurier's understanding you write. Okay. General, very general question. Problem of isolation and integration and autonomy. Book view, field view of caste system, right? You will talk about G.S. Gurier's understanding here. Attributional approach, G.S. Gurier's features, that 6 features. And then field view, M.N. Srinivas, talk about attributes again, and then talk about Sanskritization, talk about dominant caste and everything. Tell how is it different than Gurier's understanding. When you talk about book view, you can also mention about Louis Dumont. Okay. Field view, you not only talk about Srinivas, you also need to mention about Andre Bethé. So book view, write about Gurier. Since this is a general one, since it is general one, not go very specific to Gurye on one side and Srinivas on other side. Talk about Gurye and Louis Dumont on one side, M.N. Srinivas, Andre Bette, and if you want, you can talk about Yogendra Singh if you have the knowledge, and Divangar Gupta. At least M.N. Srinivas and Andre Bette, write that. Yeah, see here, G.S. Gurye and Louis Dumont, bookish view. M.N. Srinivas, F.G. Bailey, S.C. Dubé. Okay, I don't know why I've not mentioned about Andre Bette here, but it is given in the solution. Guys, different perspective of untouchability. There is a topic, perspectives to study untouchability. There are different theories, racial theory, religious theory, functional theory, Marxian theory. These are direct questions. You know this, right? G.S. Gurye's conception of Indian tribes, backward Hindus. That three divisions. What is the criticism? Brahmanical sociology, okay, or Hindu sociology. Louis Dumont's understanding on caste system, purity pollution, homo hierarchicus. Andre Bette's conception. Louis Dumont, Andre Bette, Srinivas, G.S. Gurye, one for sure. Comparison also they will ask you. Farmers movement, last year this was asked. Highlight the main issues of Dalit movement in post-colonial period. They can ask you in general Dalit movement or like this very specific also. Read this like different phases. Okay, what are the movements? A very detailed discussion, just go through that. Nothing more is required for that. I've told you to read Ghanshyam Shah, I've told you to read MA Sociology, MA Political Science program for this, but nothing is required once you see this. This covers everything, guys. Environmental movement in India is about both energy and livelihood issues. So talk about what are the energy issues, then talk about what are the livelihood issues. I've given here, livelihood issues here related to the other issues, okay. Guys, this can be asked as a 10 marker, but if they're asking tribal Panchil, you need to know this. This we have discussed already. All these PDFs we have covered. I'm just looking for the question. Last time we can't get the questions, so that's why I'm looking for this. Guys, this one is very important. I have shown you a question. Otherwise, this is very important. All movements. Ethnic conflict I have added under ethnic movement so that I've just given you introduction and conclusion here. You need to add content from there. I see the way the question is asked, same content you need to reproduce in a different way. The style will change, that's it. The peasant movement in India is a reflection of the changing agrarian structure and emerging concern and issues in Indian agriculture. So what are the change in agrarian structure? What are the emerging concerns and all those things we have actually covered there. It has been discussed here also. Okay, arbitrary eviction, the taxes, everything. The Baga movement, Telangana movement, Naxalbari movement, pre-independence movements. Evaluate the contributions and limitations of women movement in India. So you know anyway women movement, what are the contributions, how it empowered the women, the new legislations which has come, new efforts of the states and everything, you talk about that. Limitation mainly guys, it was part of always a parental movement before. So the parental movement based on that, the ideology, the leadership, it was not mainly from within. That was main problem. And the achievement, it is there, but it is far from satisfactory. Even now, they are not able to get reservation for parliament and state legislature and all those things. So we'll be writing limitations. Homo hierarchicus, it is nothing but Louis Dumont perspective. And Rebate mentioning was repeating. Environmental movement, they will ask you in different language. Before I've talked about livelihood issue, energy issue. In India, it is different than other developed countries. What is the main difference? When we talk about other developed countries, it is like pure environmental movement, like air pollution movement, water pollution movement, like that. In India, it is there, but it is not that significant in nature. In India, when we talk about environmental movement linked with other issues, mainly livelihood issues, that's more important, the Chipko movement and everything. Okay? Read that, guys. Again, women movement, different other way in which the question is asked. Everything in detail, the discussion is there. Now, guys, let me tell you, once we are done with this PDF, you don't want to read more than this for social movement also. Whatever is important for each movement, I have given normally what I use in the class, plus I have incorporated whatever other movements, whatever other examples and everything which is possible. Whether it is women movement, you have seen that through 2-3 different questions we have discussed. From that, you will get content. Environmental movement, 2-3 different questions we have discussed. Backward caste discussed. Ethnic movement also we have discussed. Farmers and peasant movement also we have discussed in different questions. So this is enough. Now you don't want to refer anything for this particular area. If you have time, you can obviously read. At least Vajiram one time if you read, that is good. Otherwise, there is enough for you. Guys, any doubt? That's enough for today. We will have a session day after tomorrow also. And then not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Guys, questions related to these chapters, I'll send you by Thursday or Friday. Because I'm yet to complete this area. I have not completed. Anything else, guys, you want to ask me?